Okay, for a final problem, you lift me up. What must be the ratio of the diameter of the car to the diameter of the vessel where F1 is applied so that a 1,520 kilogram car can be lifted with the force F1 of just 125 newtons? So that's the question. What is the ratio of the diameter? Let's assume that these pistons, I mean, are circular. Okay, sige. I'm just giving you maybe 2 minutes to solve this problem. Okay. Okay, so again, maybe a minute has elapsed. Let's solve this problem. So what we want is the ratio of the diameters of the... Ba't ka ba car to? Dapat piston to Pero sige. Ang gusto talaga sabihin yan, you have a piston, which is, let's assume that it's circular. The question is, what's the diameter of that piston that will support a car with mass 1,520 kilograms, so that if you apply a force on another piston, much smaller piston, ang kailangan mo lang i-apply na force ay 125 newtons, which is relatively small. Okay, so parang isang 125/9, so about 12 kilos lang yan, yung masa kailangan mo ipasok. So in this case, since we have a piston, we can use Pascal's principle. That is F1 over A1 equals F2 over A2. Now remember, so A1 is just equal to what? A1, so let's say that the diameter is D1. Let DI, tinatamad na, diameters of the pistons, of the circular pistons. Okay, I here is an index quantity, index lang naman yan. So in that case, A1 is simply pi quantity D1 over 2 quantity squared. Tama? Tama?
Yes,
Tama diba? And then A2 is just the same pi quantity D2 over 2 quantity squared. So let's say this is equation 1, and this is equation 2, and this is equation 3, and we substitute equation 2 to and equation 3 to equation 1. So substituting equation 2 and equation 3 to equation 1, we have the following. So we have F1 over pi quantity D1 over 2 quantity squared is equal to F2 over pi quantity D2 over 2 quantity squared. Now, let me manipulate it. Para ang lalabas na lang ay, I have pi quantity D2 over 2 quantity squared all over pi quantity D1 over 2 quantity squared is equal to F2 over F1. So this is, let's say, equation 4. Now, let's say that F2 is the larger piston. So F2 is the larger piston. Subscript 2 denotes larger piston. Kalimutang sabihin. So this means that F2 is what? Ano lang yung F2? Again, you want a larger piston for the car. Syempre, kung maliit na piston yan, hindi nasira yung ano mo, di ba? Nasira yung hydraulic lift mo. So F2 is just basically the weight of the car that you want to lift. So this is simply mass of the car times G, which is simply what? Given that the mass of the car is 1,520 kilograms, so ang mangyayari ay magkakaroon ka ng 1,520 kilograms multiplied by 9.81 meters per second squared. And yan, di ko na simplify muna kasi may mas madaling way. And then F1 is simply 15 newtons, that's given. Hence, substituting these two quantities here in equation 4, thus we have a pi quantity D2 over 2 quantity squared all over pi quantity D1 over 2 quantity squared, which is equal to 1,520 kilograms multiplied by 9.81 meters per second squared all over 15 newtons. The pi will cancel, the over 2 squared will cancel, so wala na yan. Ang matitira na lang ay D2 over D1 quantity squared. So D2 over D1 quantity squared is simply the expression 1,520 kilograms times 9.81 meters per second squared all over 15 newtons. Therefore, the ratio of the diameters is given by just the square root of this quantity here. Hence, D2 over D1 equals 1,520 kilograms times 9.81 meters per second squared all over 15 newtons raised to 1/2, which is just about 10.9. Paki-check, I believe it's 10.9. Questions. So in conclusion, so the bottom line here is the diameter of the piston that the car where the car will be placed, where must be at least 11 times than the diameter where the force will be applied. Okay, questions? May tanong ba? So yun, it's about 11 times. So medyo doable. So for example, if you have medyo doable, mga 10 times na mas malaki yung, for example, if you have a diameter 5 meters, yung diameter dapat ng isa 50 meters. So medyo malaki siya. Do 5 meters naman kasi yun eh. O sige, 5 cm tsaka 50 cm na lang. Diba? So the point is, that's a really good application of Pascal's principle. Kasi pwede mong malift yung mga cars with just a smaller force. Diba? Okay, questions? May tanong?
125 newtons po ata yung force
Ay!
1.
Force 1 is, oo nga, 100, sorry. This should be 125.
Pero tama naman po yung
Tama yung
10.
sagot. Yeah. I know
Tama
this is
naman.
correct. 125 newtons. Tinanggal ko yung pagka-square. Ginawa in square root, no? 125 to dapat. Sorry for that. Thank you for the correction. That's why I need students here. For me to be corrected if ever na may typo ako. Okay. Questions? May tanong ba?
None.
Wala? None. Okay, sige.